Intersectionality, intersectionality, intersectionality. You've heard the word, you know the word. If you don't, it's out there. Intersectionality. Hey y'all, we back. It's another week of Classroom Chronicles. I'm Dr. Ashley Gaddy Robbins for folks who are just joining the episodes and joining the talks. And this is Classroom Chronicles. And I teach interracial communication. And so, what I do after I teach every Tuesday is I spend a little time debriefing and talking about class and what we did and what I took away. So, today we did intersectionality, which is literally like one of my favorite modules and topics ever. One, because I love debunking it and unpacking it and exposing it for what it really is in the best way. Because it is one of those phrases, right, that has gotten trendy, that people are just using as a word to just list identities. Some people are using it to play Oppression Olympics. Crenshaw, Murphy, Collins, all them, Lord, all them, Hooks, all them did not mean it for that. And so we started off kind of like, if you teach an interracial communication, then why are you doing intersectionality? Well, of course, we focus on race, but that's not the only identity that resides in us, and it's not the only system that is at work, right? And so we have to also look at other systems, and we also have to look at other identities in order for us to really kind of do interracial communication as best we can. And so there's an excerpt from the book that we do, that we talk about, but I give them The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House by Audre Lorde. Oh, one of my favorite pieces. And so they read that, and then they watch a clip from the Netflix docuseries Amend. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It's looking at the 14th Amendment and the ways in which kind of it shapes citizenship for different populations. And episode 4 is around control, which really looks at women. And so I have them look at a clip that actually Crenshaw is in, Kimberly Crenshaw is in, and other scholars are in, to talk about the suffrage movement, and that's how they introduce this idea of intersectionality and take it from there. So those are the texts and the pieces that we are learning from on module 6. But I taught them, I was like, how y'all heard the word? About half of the class had heard the term. I'm like, how y'all hearing intersectionality? They're like, you're not just one thing. You're not just one thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. But it's so much more than that. But also, I'm getting emails right now. Come on, Professor. I'm getting emails. But also, what does that mean when we're thinking about communication? So we talked about Lord's Peace and what we have to really do to kind of expand two things, right? This is both and. It's expanding past these individual identities to look at and understand how systems shape tropes and stereotypes and norms and experiences for people. And then what does that mean on the individual level? And so Lord opens up the article being invited to this feminism conference, but she was invited last minute. She get there, she only one or two Black women, and she like, for real, y'all doing a feminism conference, but y'all not taking into account Black women's perspectives. Y'all not taking into account poor women's perspectives. You're not taking into account women who are from countries that have been colonized. Y'all not taking in lesbians. So y'all are just missing a whole big facet of women, huh? In the name of feminism. That can't be. And so we kind of opened up class talking about the importance of being intersectional and thinking about other identities within these kind of large cultural identities, right? Gender, race, class, etc. Because if we're not intersectional, the most vulnerable are going to fall through the cracks. You feel me? Come on, Crenshaw quote. So They were really able to kind of open up this idea from this list of identities and really tie it to the systems that create the inequities around these identities. We use gender as an example. So if we're looking at sexism, patriarchy, heterosexism, etc., what are some norms that are shaped by that? Where they were like, well, men are supposed to go off and go to work. Women are supposed to stay home. Women are supposed to be feminine. Men are supposed to be masculine or more. But all of these social norms that we've been fed, that patriarchy and sexism creates for us, right? That then shapes in inequities for women, non-binary people, etc. And it also, again, here's how it affects men. It also makes men feel like they have to continue and hold up that trope. So these systems are affecting all of us, you hear. So then how does that then affect the ways in which an individual has to live within that identity and the intersections of other identities when systems are doing the same thing? Then we looked at the beautiful, what I think Lord does the best with this is that she calls in difference. You see, with difference, we've been socialized to either ignore it. They even said it in class. Ever since we were kids, we've been told to ignore people who are different than us. Ever since we were kids, we've been told to push difference away. But what Lord does is she calls difference in. Now, granted, this is on a very basic level. The article is so much more deep than that. So we didn't have the time and depth to go all the way in. But what she is saying is that we cannot merely tolerate difference. We can't just be like, oh, you are who you are, and then you stay over there and I'm going to do my thing over here. No. We must value the power of difference, connect through it, depend on it, if you will, in order for us to move forward. And a lot of this has to be, maybe I'll edit that out, maybe I won't. This has to come through the groups with privilege. These white women at the conference, you need to embrace and call in and welcome and create space and room for all the women that you are missing. And then she says, then we come up with this idea, well, we say things like, well, how do we reach out to women who are different? How do we reach out to people who are different than us? They're not coming to us. Are you even really truly doing your own research? Are you really even truly trying to connect with people who are different than you? This is the question that I had them really ask themselves. Are you really trying? Do you really want to be around people who are different? It's that honesty about how we are with difference that we have to navigate. Before we can jump into these conversations of interracial dialogue, where the whole point is that there is difference, we have to really ask ourselves, am I really trying to F with difference? Because it requires us to disrupt these tropes and these norms and these power structures in order to do so, in order to get real with difference, in order to welcome it in order to be inclusive with it, in order to uphold power within difference. It takes us disrupting the current status quo. They were just frozen. Lord's Peace ends with the excerpt from A Tempest by Amir Césaire. And it's the quote where, I forgot his name. The character tells Prospero, you have shaped me, you have made me, you have tried to make me think that I am inferior, that I am underdeveloped. You are a liar. I know who I am. I am not who you have shaped me or called me to be. So I left him with this. There is a level of empowerment that also comes when we embrace difference. That has to come. And for the people who are on the other end of inequities, there's also a sense of liberation that we get when we can call these systems liars. You call me underdeveloped. You call me angry. You call me aggressive. You call me ugly. You call Black women all these things. You call me all these things. Patriarchy, racism, classism, homophobia, etc. You are a liar. I get to present who I am in the world. And what I am asking these young scholars to do is I am then asking them to create environments through communication, through dialogue, that allow for this bravery and this authenticity and this expression of people in all of who they are, which is going to mean that they are going to be different than you. So while this module is a module, it's called intersectionality. It's not really, we don't go too deep into the theory because the whole point is, the communication. So trust me, I could do a whole class on intersectionality. So for my scholars watching this, I understand like this is very, very surface level. But what it did do for them is it did allow them to kind of to move the dotted line from identity to systems. It did help them understand how systems shape inequities, therefore how they shape in everyday experiences. And it did also, through Lord's peace, it did also help them understand how tolerance has to be disrupted around people who are different than us. That's what I left them with. It is our job as people who are going to be engaging in communication and dialogue. It is our responsibility to then be the ones who bring and call in difference, uplift it, value it, make room for it by disrupting tolerance, by disrupting these norms that systems have said about difference, and move forward together and empower ourselves and others in the process. And so I think that they left really charged and excited to do so. I think some of them have to do some work around tolerance because they've been socialized. I mean, that's something we learn, right? If somebody's different than you, that's fine. You don't got to agree. They can be right there and you can let them stay over there. You going about your way, they going about their way. But if we in the same group, the same class, that's going to be kind of hard, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, in the world for justice, we should be, disrupting these systems and then moving forward in difference. But let's just say we in the same group, even then it's going to be hard. Tolerance ain't the way, y'all. And that's what I think that they left with today. And if they did, I'm happy with that. So this kind of ended the foundation. Next week we go into some theories, some communication theories. We got to start practicing now. So y'all get excited because now we about to do some code switching, some critical race theory. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, we not about to be code switching. They're going to learn about communication accommodation theory. Oh, no. We're not going to be code switching. Anyways, all right. Y'all join me. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I hope you're learning something from this too. Peace.